Oh, hello and welcome to Coffee with Kass. This is our every Wednesday in August Coffee with Kass. It's been a while and it's a little different this time. I used to do these alone and I was like, is coffee alone like something you do, or do you have coffee with a friend? Please welcome Jenn Possick, just an amazing, amazing lady and friend. And we have been around the world. Been around the world, and I just love my Jenn. We've been in Japan together for a couple of weeks in Japan.
Yep.
And we've been in Hungary with Laszlo for a couple of weeks, I think, and in Denver, and you were in Rome for my birthday one year. I remember
I
that.
was. That's true. I was.
How
And
great
then
is that?
in Munich, and then also in New York.
Right.
Yeah.
And in Nashville, Tennessee, not Nashville, Tennessee, in
Asheville, North Carolina.
where we met.
Yeah, that is true.
Yes, and I don't know if you remember this, but we met because my host was like, look, I think we need to get this notice out a little bit more, that spread it out. And I see this gal, Jenn Possick, online, and she does sessions on showing people how to spread their news and get on social media. And I don't have time to do her lesson. So can we hire her? I was like, well, sure, we could hire her. Why don't we not only hire her, but invite her to come to Asheville?
Which is so perfect.
So that was awesome. The beginning of a journey that is continuing. So thank you all for joining and for creating the energy and the space for us to have the consciousness that we would like to be together again. And she obviously, you know what she does, but she used to be a teacher. Tell us a little bit about you, Miss Jenn. Your journey.
Sure. Yeah, I did used to be a teacher. I used to teach elementary school. I taught kindergarten for 5 years and then third grade for 3 years. I loved teaching. I loved instilling a love of learning and especially a love of reading. And I hated the politics and BS that goes along with teaching in the public education arena, especially in the US. And so I stopped teaching. I spent some time trying to figure out what I wanted to do next, trying things on. And actually, Kass, I realized thinking about back, like the first time that I ever saw you was not in Asheville. The first time I ever saw you, because I was a Access Consciousness certified facilitator for a little while. So the first time was at Facilitators in Rome. I don't know, 2013 or 2012, sometime back then. Yeah. And so I was trying to kind of figure out what I wanted to do next. And my family, so my dad's health wasn't great. They were introduced to a health and wellness product that had a big effect on his health. And I started, because it had a big effect on him, sorry, let me back up. They've basically been entrepreneurs as long as I can remember. So they started a business sharing about their product, and I decided to join them. So I just started, I knew we needed an online presence. I didn't really know much of anything about it, but I just started learning everything I could from everywhere I could. And very quickly I found that growing an email list, and so that we could then add value and promote to our list, was really effective for us. And using Facebook ads and then eventually Instagram ads as well was a really amazing way to kind of grow that list on hyperdrive. So then in 2015, I started my own business, just kind of sharing what I know and helping others with it as well.
I love that you started that as a step up mode to assist your parents, right? And then you're like, hey, I'm pretty good at this. Maybe I'll turn this into my new business. That is so cool. Right? Yeah. And you reached numbers with your parents, I remember, that were just amazing in short periods of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I grew their email list to over 160,000, and then it brought in well over 2 million in sales from that.
Hello.
Yeah.
Ting, ting, ping, ping. Ting, ting, ping, ping. So what are some of the elements that that includes, you know, getting out there? I mean, I've just been doing some videos talking about, you know, connecting with yourself, being authentic, and then igniting your talents, which is what you did.
Yeah.
Connecting with yourself, letting yourself know, you know what, this teaching thing is not exactly what works for me. Igniting your talents through your parents, and then stepping out and being seen a bit in the
Yeah.
world, getting out there. I absolutely really love your creativity style, and it's obviously something that you develop, so it's not something people can't learn, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting that you talk about that with all the stuff that you've been talking about. I feel like all of that plays a role as well. Like I was just thinking about one of the things that I very consciously still have to, like, still not have to, but will still do, because being visible and like putting yourself out there, like that's a huge key to it. And I have often said like invisibility is like my superpower. But when you are a business owner, like being invisible and being the best kept secret does not really let you grow your business. And so like I have to very consciously choose to be visible and put myself out there. And then also part of that, the phrase or that you coined about the step in, step up, step out, I feel like that is like huge, because it really is like, okay, step into your body, like step up, and then like step out and like share those gifts with the world. And that, I feel like the mindset stuff and like that aspect of it is huge. And then there's like the practical like strategy side of all of it as well. Yeah. So in terms of like things that I recommend, so
Right. I just want to say though that this, you said something, and you know, it's really amazing. Being willing to be visible. How many of us are not willing to be visible? You know what I mean? And what is it? Can you just share something? How did you make that transition between not wanting to be in the background,
yeah.
and then saying, you know what? Oops, I got to get out there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like for myself, because I'm so naturally invisible, like it's not just like a one-time choice. It's a constant choice. And sometimes I'll find myself like, oh, I'm not really making the impact I want, or I'm not like reaching as many people as I want. And I almost have to like make that choice again. Just very consciously choosing. Yeah, I think that's a big piece of it.
Yeah.
And for me, it really was the idea that like for a long time I was like the best kept secret, but my business wasn't growing like I wanted it to grow. And so recognizing like, okay, if I'm going to actually like step up and like grow my business, this is like a choice that I just have to really be conscious of. Like I do a lot with like energy pulls before I'm like with anything I'm creating really. So if I'm like creating ads, I'll do energy pulls with those. If I'm going to go live on Facebook, I'll do energy pulls with those. If I'm like putting something out there, like that plays a piece of it.
I love that. So the energy pulls actually before you go live and before you post, because I know you used to have that with me. We used to do that. We worked together for a couple of years. Like, okay, before we send this letter, can we do some energy pulls? I wonder if I should start doing that again. I forgot. Glad this is like coffee with me, and it's good information for me to remember. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cheers with your coffee. I love it. It's morning there, right?
Yeah. It's 12:40, so just barely afternoon.
Okay, cool.
Still early.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that we have to share. Like everyone, I talk about that, right? With the 7 steps, that everyone has their unique brand of magic. A lot of people, like when I first started coming out with a 7 steps book, before I wrote it, it was like, why should I write a book? There's people who've written books about communication. Why should I write it? Because you have a unique way of expressing yourself, right? You have a unique way. I'm sure there's people who do seminars and teaching of online, but the way you do it, yeah, is different,
Yep.
And so just letting people know how whatever way they have of expressing themselves is unique, and how they sort of transmit that to others. Yeah. So they and one of the ways I loved reading your email the other day. You could talk about this later, when you said, "Oops, I didn't follow my own rules."
Oh. Yeah.
So there is, the willingness, the vulnerability also with the public, because you didn't send that just to me.
Right.
You send that to everyone, So that's one of the things that get people to recognize your personality, your sense of humor, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because I think we talk about similar stuff just in different ways, because I talk a lot about how we buy from those we know, those we like, and those we trust. And so much of like growing a business, it's just like growing that know, like, and trust factor to bring people into you. Because yeah, you're absolutely right. There are plenty of people that talk about Facebook and Instagram ads, but it's like my clients become my clients because they know me, they like me, and they trust me. It's like there's always going to be people that do something similar to what you do. But yeah, you have your own unique way of being in the world and of offering what you offer. And that's what people are attracted to. And so it's sharing that and like finding ways to grow that know, like, and trust factor so that people know who you are and then want to work with you.
Right. And also the fact that if other people are doing it, that means it is a business.
Yeah.
So that there's,
Yeah, absolutely.
I hadn't really considered that. I was like, oh, well, you're already doing that. I said that to Gary Douglas, the founder of Access. Well, you've already written a lot of books. Why do I need to write one, right? And he's like, hello, because the way you do it is going to be different. And obviously, if people enjoy reading books, what contribution can that?
Right.
Yeah. And different people do different ways of blogging. And are you doing blogs as well?
Every once in a while. It's been a while since I've put out some blog posts. I kind of think of like the email, like any emails that I write to my list are also kind of like blogs.
Bloggy.
In general, yeah.
So you're one of the things that what we'll be talking about today too is growing your database, basically, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And not in a buying, I don't even know if you can do that anymore, but people used to buy, and people say that to me, well, do you know the people on your list? I'm like, yeah, I think I know all of them, because that's how, they found the list, they found the website and stuff. And what invitation, and traveling around and meeting all kinds of people, but what do you suggest? What do you know a little bit about the
so I'm a big fan of growing your email list, because when you have an email list, like you own the list. I give the example also, like there are some people where it's like they do a lot of their business on like social media and on different platforms, and it's like you don't own that. Like a few weeks ago, I was on Facebook and all of a sudden something happened and the Facebook needed to verify that I was who I said I was. And I lost my personal profile for like over a day until Facebook could verify that I was me. And like a little bit, like it made me freak out, but I was also able to stay really calm, because I was like, all right, even if I don't get this back, I still have a way to contact my people, because I have this email list and I can still contact them. I can still message them. And I know that like they'll get my stuff, right? So I'm a fan of growing the email list in a way that's giving value. So you're warming people up, you're introducing yourself, you're giving some type of like a quick win, and then adding value on a regular basis with follow-up emails to them.
Right.
So
I don't know if I'm slower than most people, but you could just slow down a second, girl.
Okay.
Okay. What?
Sorry.
Just let me right. You're doing right. And I know you've got it. So it's okay. So first of all, I just love, one of the things I love about you is like you do social media and you're willing to say, hey, so I got my page blocked. You know, so every you know, we might think that that's a disaster, or if you get what do they call it, those hackers, right, that come in. Have you ever had that show up?
Yep.
Yeah. So there's nothing that stops you, you know, not just you, but there's nothing that can stop you. However, I really like that you're saying this about the email list, because nowadays people think, oh, Facebook is, you know, I've heard a lot, Facebook is going away, Instagram is more important, there's other things depending on the age range of people, right? That they, which of the social media aspects they use. However, having, you know, their email address, and I say also the phone number so that you can call someone in case that 5D thing like shuts down the, you know, the whole system of, you know, technology. At least you could still call, you know, your friend on the phone if you have their number, right? And I know that you have been translated before, and you're being translated now in different languages. So just to give you awareness of the pace with that. Yeah.
Got it.
So will you just repeat the part that you just said again about the love, what it love, like it's something we called this.
Yeah, so you want to grow the know, like, and trust factor.
I'm just gonna type that, honey, in the chat. 1 second.
Okay. Yeah. So first thing, it's like we buy from those we know, those we like, and those we trust. And that's on like a large scale, like if you're buying from a big corporation to buying from an individual. For around the world, I think a good example is if you could go to Starbucks or your local coffee shop that is just like so cute and comfortable and that you go to all the time, which one would you choose? And for some people, it might be Starbucks. If I am visiting another country and I don't know anything about that local coffee shop, I might go to Starbucks, right? But you might choose to go to the local place because you know it, like, right? You might know both places, but you like one place more and you trust one place more. So it's true from large brands to buying from individuals.
It only took me like 20 minutes to write that. Okay. That's back there. Okay. Yeah. And I don't think we yet have, or maybe they have that in Milan, but the Starbucks here in Italy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
because you know that how many different ways you can order a coffee in Italy, right? And how many you can get the cafe, which is an espresso really short, or you can get a cafe lungo, which is a little extended espresso, or you can get it with milk, or you can get it and with cold milk, hot milk. You can get it now with soy milk. You can get it a cappuccino with a double espresso. You can get it, you know, all kinds of ways. But and that's a little bit about the way you can approach people too, and to establish the like factor, right? And the know, let people know you factor in the different ways that know you, like you, and trust you, right? To show, the different styles that you have, you know? Yeah. So in developing an email list, how do you do that?
Yeah, so it's figuring out what can you give people that introduces them to what you have to offer and can give them like a quick win. So you don't need to give away everything. It's just like, what's that one little piece that you can give them that will introduce them to you and your world while giving them some value?
Yeah, and you know, nowadays with this, you know, post-COVID, current COVID, I'm not sure what's going on in Florida, but it's it's all around the world.
Florida is
Nowadays,
a whole different.
people, are, yeah, because you've got so much space there, or
No, because we have a governor who is very good friends with Trump and making some interesting decisions.
uh-huh, uh-huh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that's a little different than New York governor, I guess, right?
Yeah, it is very different.
Governor Cuomo, yeah, and probably the rest of the world. But a lot of people I see are giving away a lot, and it's not the same as gifting, right? Gifting is something that you're willing, you know, like we say in Access, willing to recognize what people can receive. Sometimes people are bombarded by stuff and it's not really a contribution, and they may unsubscribe, right, from your mailing list with that. So really asking that question, what is it that will be, how did you put it, a gift to someone
Yeah.
that will show them my appreciation for them.
Yeah. Like that quick win where it's just like that little piece. It's not the whole thing. I think you're so right. That's something I used to do a lot, where I would give away way too much information because I wanted people to know everything, but
Yes.
it's too much.
Yeah. And it's not like you're trying to hold something back. It's like you're really taking into consideration the other person, and that's what the trust factor, I guess, is about, right? Taking that you're not going to overwhelm and abuse them, bombard. Yeah, yeah.
That's a cool way to look at it. I've never thought about it like that, but I think that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and that also you're knowing you, liking you, and trusting you too, knowing that you'll be someone that gives everything away. And also inviting them to more. Do you have people or clients who have people who unsubscribe a lot?
Oh, well, I mean, anytime you're growing an email list, you're going to have people unsubscribe. That is just kind of how it goes.
Because I had some people unsubscribe. You know, I you now get people, collaborators working with me. Steffi's still here. She's on vacation. She sends her love.
Aww.
I know. And so I don't really see the unsubscribes. But then I heard a conversation about them, and I was like, really? Somebody unsubscribed? What did I do? Why? What, is it my fault? Did I do something wrong? What's their name? Let me call them. Let me talk to them. I mean, I'm happy to unsubscribe them if they want, but if I offended them, I'd really like to know. Is that being a little too sensitive? It might be that I pushed the wrong button. I mean, I did call them. Yeah.
Yeah, here's the thing. Most of the time, it's probably not you. And it's not like, I think it just means they're not your people right now. Like their email list, sometimes I'll unsubscribe and then I'll see an ad or a post or something else. And I'm like, well, I want to get that. So then I'll sign back up on their list. You know, there's also, I have a thing on my email list if somebody unsubscribes, they can give feedback as to why. And a lot of times I'll have the feedback is, I'm not in business anymore. So it's like, if somebody's not a business owner and they have no interest in running ads, there's no reason for them to be on my email list.
Right.
Like they're not going to get value from what I'm giving. So it could just be they're not in the space for what you're offering right now. And it doesn't mean that they won't get there eventually. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Listen, guys, I'm just gonna have my little time with Jenn and have you enjoying it. But please, 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 if you have any questions about that. Hi, Bettina. Yeah, if you have any questions about that, about anything, please ask Jenn, or else I'll have to have her back. We're doing a project development, the Dancing with Riches intro together on Monday, the 10th, also. So we will, if you are growing a business and starting a business, I know Sonia's had many businesses, but she's also growing one. If you are, that'll be a specific theme on Monday to go a bit deeper into it. But if you have any questions, really with somebody who has worked with clients around the world, and really even with family, and just grown that, please don't hesitate to ask. Yeah. And we'll be kind to you if it's someone translating and you have a question. We can wait for you to translate your question and get back to you, so you can trust us.
Yeah, I might just have those reminders to slow down.
Yeah. It, of course. That's so funny. People, and I always say slow down so you can move faster, right? But I've got to tell you that with the emails now, people are getting a bit overwhelmed by emails, and some people in some cultures actually don't even read emails. But that is just a second, what I understood from your first comment about knowing you could reach your peeps, the people on your list, the people who follow you, who subscribe, who you could reach them thanks to the email list. But it doesn't mean that it's the only way that you connect with them, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and also, I mean, so with all of that, like, I think people need to see things multiple times to take action a lot of the time. And so I think it's finding all the ways that you can reach people and putting it out in all different ways, because you're going to get people. So let's say like you have a class coming up and you're emailing your list, you're also posting about it, you're sharing about it individually. I mean, there's lots of ways that you can reach people. And I think it's a combination of doing all of the things to reach as many people as possible.
Yeah. I don't know why I want to cry when you say that. I'm not sure if it's just so happy to see you. That may be it. What you said was you have to get it out there a lot of different ways and see it. They have to see it a lot of times. And I don't know why I feel like that's a bit bombarding. I always feel that way. But that's how I feel about it from my perspective, like having the posted a lot of times things, the same thing. However, from the other perspective, I'm really happy when somebody posts more than once, because I'm like, oh shoot, thankfully they posted that again. So I didn't sign up yet for it. I've got to sign up for it, you know? So do you have any advice for me with that? Oh, look, I've got 2 glasses. Which ones do you like, honey? Oh, these maybe.
Yeah, those are cute. I like the sides of them.
Yeah, okay, I'll do these. Yeah, what is that? Do you have any? Not that this is a personal session, but does anything pop for it? Maybe I need to call you for a personal session.
I think the fact that like when you see other people posting stuff, you don't feel like it's too much and you're grateful for the reminders. First off, I would like keep that in mind. But then if you feel like you're posting too much, ask some questions around it, because it could be that you are. Like, I know I have seen times where it's like people are posting this. I've seen this especially with some access consciousness facilitators, where they're posting literally the exact same post in 50 different access groups. And that's when it's like, okay, this is ridiculous. But if you are posting something on your personal page and on your business page, maybe like a day or 2 later, and in your Facebook group a day or 2 later, and you're sending out an email, I think that that's a little bit different than just blasting it everywhere. And it's asking questions about where can you tell people about it that's going to give the most benefit.
Love that. I'm going to write that. Where can you tell people about it? All right. Anyone have a question that, oh my goodness, that can give the most benefit? Okay.
I have a question, if it is
Awesome.
possible. Just a moment to mute my link. The question is how to connect with unknown people on social media, on which way to present myself to people that I did not know.
Yeah, that's a great question. That's where I am a big fan of ads. It's a really good way to reach people that you don't know that don't know you, and to introduce yourself and start warming them up. Especially to something where it's like giving that quick win to grow your email list, so that you're welcoming them into your world and then continuing that relationship. The one thing I will say with ads though, you do have to kind of know what you're doing, or it can be very easy to just waste money.
Right. Great. So ads, advertisements, right? And getting yourself known to a different audience. There's so many different ways to go about those ads too, and we can talk about that at even on Monday. Please join us, somebody. But the thing about building your mailing list and using ads to do that, sometimes places like I think Facebook ads or something, they have lots of rules and regulations about what kind of stuff you can put into the ads. So you really do need some professional, advice about that, and to have it to be able to turn it into, right, something that actually results. I did a Facebook ad, let me just tell you. And all the different publics and stuff that you can choose, right? And what we discovered with that is that the audience that received the majority of the visualizations, or that where it was present, was based on the location of the person who put the ad out, the IP address, because I had someone from India do it, and the majority of the people that received it were from India, which is great. I love India. And so that's fine, but that's just one thing that people who know about this Facebook stuff or Instagram stuff, or how to compose an ad or what to put in there, can be a big contribution too, right?
Yeah, Facebook, doing it on your own can be a lot, because Facebook is always changing what the platform looks like. There's a million ways to set it up. There's so many different moving parts and pieces to setting it up.
Yeah,
so yeah,
absolutely. But is that helpful, Adriana? Yeah. All right, Liliana, do you have any questions? She's like, no. You can say it in Romanian. We're fine with it. All right. Anyone else have any questions?
I do actually have something else to add with the getting to know people that don't already know you. Another method that you can use that takes a little bit more time, but can be a little bit easier, is commenting in Facebook groups where people are asking for help in things that you know that you can help with, that like relate to your business and what you do, and just going in there offering advice. Sometimes that can lead to conversations and can lead to clients, especially if sometimes I've found the best groups have ended up being paid groups, where people have paid for some type of a course or a membership. So that they're already in there, they're already investing. And then when they're asking specific questions, looking for help with something that's in your area, in your specialty. Yeah.
Paid Facebook groups.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that like energy pull groups or something like that? Is with the access people, or what is that?
Yeah, it could be. It could also be groups that are not related to access, but are related to like law of attraction type stuff, or any type of thing where it's like energy and consciousness, and you know that they'll have similar interests, but it's not already just saturated with all other access people.
Right. Right. Great.
Yeah.
Great. So how can you step out of your comfort zone in order to invite people to be comfortable in your zone? Yeah.
I like that.
Cool. Awesome. Anyone else have any questions? Lorena, Sonia?
Yes. Hi, Jen. Hi, Kass. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. I have a question about the network funnel.
Funnel.
Have you, funnel, yeah.
Funnel,
Have
yeah.
you ever worked with this kind of marketing email process?
Yes, that is what I teach about and talk about all the time. Yeah. Do you have a specific question around funnels?
Yeah, sometimes people find that a funnel is not a good thing because you have to, overwhelm people with your Facebook ads and really put it on their actuality page. I don't know the name. And here, if you don't have a quick win to attract them to your ads, maybe it doesn't work, you know. So what do you think about it? Because you talk about the email list. What do you think about the funnel?
Can I just say one thing about the funnel? Can I just say one thing about it? I mean, I'm familiar with the funnel as well. And some of them, you know it's a funnel. You know they're bringing you to something, but somehow the way they're presenting it and what they're offering, you're like, okay, you got me. You know what I mean? And so I just want to say that, you know, it's not always that it's bombarding. You know, I've signed up for a lot of things that have been through funnel, especially after learning about funnel. I knew what it was, but I was like, I'm interested in the topic that they're talking about. And some of those topics are about funneling too. So what do you know, Jen? Tell us your...
Yeah, I think exactly what you're saying is, as long as you are giving value, especially at the top of the funnel, and starting to warm people up, grow that know, like, and trust factor, and giving that value all along the way, I think it's fine. I don't think it has to be a very complex funnel. Some of my clients have funnels that almost like make your head spin with so many different parts and pieces. It can be very simple, where you send somebody to a landing page to sign up, a thank you page after they've signed up, and then an email series that's introducing who you are, giving the freebie that you're offering, and then continuing to let them get to know more about you.
Yeah, so landing pages are definitely a great accompaniment with the funnel, and then a continuity of contact. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Is that helpful, Lorena? Cool. All right. Anyone else have any questions for Miss Jenn? Yeah. All right. Well, while you're thinking about that, I just, if something pops up for you, we were talking about increasing mailing lists and this know, like, and trust factor. And I'm just wondering if you share with us that oops that you sent, you know, because a lot of us, a lot of times, I really love that. And that's something about you, the willingness to say, oops, okay, I didn't do that. Let's try it another way. It's a lightness. It's a, you know, joy type thing. However, a lot of times what went on, and I'll talk about it, doesn't seem like a not respect thing. But then people can react in a different way, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with you. And a lot of times it has to do with them. So you could share that with us. Yeah.
Yeah. So first off, I'm very much an introvert, and I do not like cold calling people. I'm not a fan of just like, have you ever had people like they become like Facebook friends with you, and then 2 minutes later they're inviting you to like their business page, and they're popping into your inbox about all the ways that they can help you and like do X, Y, and Z, right? And it just comes across as kind of gross and spammy. And
has that showed up for people? Has that ever shown up for you? Yeah. Tanya says yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm in a local networking group, and one of the things, so it's a seat specific. So it's where we're looking to fill a particular role. In this case, it was actually for a bookkeeper. And I was on a different networking thing, and somebody on it was a bookkeeper. And so I sent her a private message through Zoom, and was like, hey, I'm in this group. We're looking for a bookkeeper. Would you be interested? And real quick, she was like, nope, not interested. And I just was like, it felt gross to me, because here I was doing what I tell people not to do. And it just like, it didn't align with how I run my own business. And so it just felt kind of gross. And it was a good reminder to like, okay, I'm not going to do that, even when it's like not really even for my business. I'm not going to do that for other people either, because it's just, it doesn't feel good.
So you don't advise when we see someone on a group channel to directly connect with them without
Well,
first, yeah.
So here's the thing. I think if I had reached out to her and just been like, hey, I'd love to connect and like get to know more about you and your business, I think that would have been totally different. But instead I was like, hey, here's this offer. Like, that's the part that I think felt gross, right, and kind of spammy.
Wow. Okay. So I hope you guys get the subtlety of the difference in that, but also the allowing someone the chance to say no, I'm not interested, right? Instead of overwhelming them with perhaps an invitation. And for me, that's actually offering someone a job, which is different. So they might see it in a different way. Then it's actually a gift. You're not saying, hey, do you want to sign up for my class? You're saying, hey, we need to hire someone. Are you available? Right, which is different, but it depends on, and you can ask questions. You can use, the tools of asking questions to see, are they going to be able to receive this? And that's what your advice is when one of your many advices when you're going to post something, to connect with someone, to ask a question and follow your knowing.
Yeah, for sure. Also, I think so much like when you're posting, some of the stuff that I really try to do is I try to tell stories with what I'm doing so that I can relate it back, because I think storytelling is a great way for people to kind of understand and relate to it.
I get Loredana, you're getting this too, right? We were just playing, Lori and I were just playing with that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I also, when I'm writing something, even if I'm writing like a Facebook post that lots of people are going to read it, I try to write to just one person, so that, because when we're scrolling through our phone, Facebook, or when we're reading email, there's nobody looking over our shoulder reading it with us. We're reading it, we're by ourselves reading it. So I try to write just to like my ideal client, as if they're just like, I'm writing to a friend.
Wow. Yeah. So it's not this like general thing, and it's so friendly. It is so much your energy when you do that. Like, so if you're not used to speaking to a public, why would you do a post that's a public post as opposed to an intimate, hello, hey, how you doing? So that's like writing to a friend,
Yeah.
like you're saying. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I just kind of try to keep that in mind with every email that I send, with, I mean, even with like a sales page too, like where I'm writing it just to that one person as they're reading it, hopefully to get them to connect with it.
Awesome. So, I mean, a lot of people here are using different different means of reaching out and may not have yet activated that, or they may be quite advanced at it. But as you can see, all the different areas that Jenn has experience in. Does anyone else, even on the language lines, have any questions or anything pop a topic that might be helpful to you? Yeah. So, Jenn, tell us a little bit about how and where to find you.
Yeah. So jennpossick.com is my website.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yep. Makes it very easy. And then
Right.
on all things social media, it's just at Jenn Possick. I also have a podcast called The Ads Maven. You can find that on your favorite podcast apps. That gives a ton of information about all things ads. And then I also have a lot of guests on there talking about just kind of all things online business specific. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And that podcast, I know you had the radio show, right? Is that still same thing? Okay.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Right.
It's currently paused. I'll come back to it eventually when it pops again.
Okay. And what, just this is a question. Everyone talks about podcasts. What exactly are podcasts? The difference between Zooms, lives, podcasts, and radio shows?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Is it? Oh, I thought it was a stupid question. Okay, good.
No, so a Zoom usually with a Zoom, I mean, you have people where they're able to ask questions almost like in real time. Even if you're doing like a webinar on Zoom, which I use Zoom for my webinars as well, you can bring somebody onto the camera with you. So it's a good way to connect. You can share your screen, which is really helpful a lot, at least for me. Facebook Lives, you can do the same stuff as with Zoom, where you can share your screen, you can have multiple people on, but mostly people are interacting in the comments, and there's a little bit of a time delay, so that can be it can make things a little bit tricky when you're responding to comments. Radio shows are live. Podcasts are not live, they're just right after the fact. So like it was a live radio show that immediately after was just turned into a podcast. Podcasts, they can be video. They're typically just audio. But I think all of them are amazing ways to grow the know, like, and trust factor, because when you can see somebody, when you can hear somebody, like you just get to know more about them so quickly in a way that text doesn't always translate. So it's kind of similarly with running Facebook ads. I'm always a fan of testing video ads for it because it grows the know, like, and trust factor very quickly. Yeah. Does that answer it?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love that, the delay factor, etc. Yeah. So the podcast and the radio, a lot of the radio shows actually go on to podcasts, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Afterwards. Yeah. So it's always about how to repurposing, using in different ways, different things. All right, cool. So jennpossick.com. You can also check her out on Facebook. And also I've just put in the chat link. You can also find it on my website, kassthomas.com. I've invited her. forever while I have her for a moment on Monday the 10th to talk about and to walk us through some of the steps for the building the list and getting ads together and how to compose and different things. And it's you can tell she's always quite friendly. So project development is the key. Great. And what is next for you, dear, in life?
That's a good question. I mean, I have the stuff that's like always just going on in terms of like business. In life, we're gonna take a this is not at all related to business, but we're gonna take a road trip across the country to go camping with some friends in September.
Wow. Well, hopefully you'll pass by Vegas and say hello to our buddy Karen Jones, who we've been together with. Yeah. Who was my first facilitator of Access Consciousness. Well, thank you so much. If anyone has anything, I see Ms. Reguli is on as well. I hope it's been a bit interesting to you. My cup of coffee is done. Yours may be as well.
Pretty close.
On? Not sure why I'm on. You can't see my face now. Yeah. Oh, there it is. And so, yeah, I hope you guys will join next week for another Coffee with Kass with another guest. And I am so grateful to have you here and in my life. And thank you so much, Miss Jenn.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been fun.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. And don't forget, let people know you. Let people like you. And let people trust you. Know, like, and trust factor. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye,
It was
Judy.
really great.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Jenn, you had so much ease. I really loved it.
Oh,
yay. You are so inspiring. Your ease and yeah, really, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm so glad.
Awesome. All right.
Kass?
Yes.
Yes, just to ask a last question. Where can we find this Zoom? In which group? Facebook group? Maybe the Art of Being Kass or communication?
Yes, anyone who's this one here.
Yeah.
Anyone who signed up for it, they will get the replay link of it. Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Great.
you for asking that. Yeah.
Thank you.
I should have mentioned that. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.